Our story begins in a hazy, dreamlike world. Where am I? Our heroine wonders, floating in a sea of light. This place seems so familiar. He remembers this path. If she follows it, she knows there should be a golden apple tree. And there it is, a magnificent tree with a radiant, angelic figure standing beneath it. The being is breathtaking, with a cascade of pure white wings. That person? She thinks, stunned. He turns to face her, a gentle smile on his lips as he holds a golden apple. His voice is like a melody as he simply says, "Come." He holds the apple out, a silent invitation. "Come to my side, Nia," he calls to her. He reaches out his hand, a warm and welcoming gesture. But a dark, sinister voice cuts through the light like a knife. Forget about him. The beautiful dream shatters into fire and darkness. Forget about who? She wonders, her memory already fading, leaving only a confused silhouette of our girl in the chaos. Swoosh! She jolts awake with a gasp. She clutches her head, her heart pounding. It was a dream? Her morning wake-up call, however, is a bit furry. Her puppy's tail wags right in her face. She. You placed your butt on my face again, she groans, playfully scolding the adorable little fluff ball. Meet Enran, a perfectly average first-year high school student. Her only self-proclaimed strength is her incredibly active imagination, which totally explains the crazy dream she figures, wishing for something interesting to happen today. She bounds downstairs to greet her parents. But the house is eerily quiet. There's no one there. Just a note on the table. She picks it up. To my dearest baby daughter. Except her parents have ditched her to go on a holiday, leaving her with just a bit of cash. It's just the two of us now, Sixi, she sighs, officially abandoned. But wait, what's that crackling sound? She looks down and her blood runs cold. The dog is chewing on the bank card. Our 3 months' worth of living expenses is there. She shrieks in pure panic. To make matters a million times worse, the card is in her dad's name. She imagines them scrounging through trash bins to survive and absolutely loses it. I'm so angry. You stupid dog. After that financial crisis, she heads to school where the cherry blossoms are in full bloom. The beautiful sight instantly lifts her spirits. She feels like something good is about to happen, and just like that, a voice calls out, "Yo, good morning." It's her childhood friend, Tang Lan, giving her a friendly hair ruffle. Tells him to knock it off, and he just winks, inviting her to his basketball match next week. As he waves goodbye, and Ran is suddenly ambushed. Smack! A terrifying mask appears out of nowhere, but it's just her chaotic best friend, Mu Wan, up to her usual shenanigans. Wan, don't wear that strange mask to scare others, and Ran scolds. Wan just smirks, wiggling her eyebrows. I saw you smiling very happily. What did you talk to Tang Lan about? And Ran immediately gets flustered, denying everything as her friend giggles. The school day passes in a blur of napping in class, eating lunch, and walking home with her bestie. Back her empty house, she sighs, wondering what to eat for dinner. Her little dog greets her happily, and she asks, Shishi, you are hungry already? She decides to feed the pup first, planning to beg her dad for money later. But then, boom, a loud creak echoes from upstairs. What's that sound from upstairs? She freezes. Isn't there no one at home? Her mind immediately jumps to the worst conclusion. A burglar. She grabs a mop handle, her heart pounding in her chest as she prepares for battle. She and her trusty sidekick she carefully peek around the corner. Through the curtains under the full moon, a sleek black cat is perched on her windowsill. It turns its golden eyes glowing in the dark. A cat, she asks, lowering her weapon. I remember closing the window, though, she mutters, confused. Come to think of it, she's been seeing a lot of black cats lately. She walks towards the window, but her reflection makes her stop dead in her tracks. In the glass, she's not wearing her uniform. She's in a magnificent white gown, complete with a sparkling tiara. In the mirror, this is me. She gasps in disbelief. It can't be, she thinks, panicking. How will those come about? She reaches out a trembling hand to touch the mirror, and it passes right through the glass like water. What the hell is this? She screams as an unseen force yanks her forward. A voice echoes in her head. Nia, quickly wake up. She's pulled into a cosmic void, tumbling through space. I am not Nia. I am Enran. The world goes black. When she comes to, she's dizzy on the floor of her school? I was sucked into the mirror and teleported to school. And then she sees it, a massive glowing cross chained to the building. She takes a hesitant step forward and sees a person chained to it. A man with long, dark hair. Is it a sculpture? She wonders, creeping closer. A reality show? He's carved so realistically, and honestly, he's so good-looking. Suddenly, his eyes snap open. He glares down at her, and she realizes her grave mistake. It wasn't a sculpture? She thinks, terrified by his icy gaze. He stares at her with cold fury. Why did you come back? He hisses. She's completely lost. What is going on? Who are you? She asks, but he just growls. I don't want to see you. Leave. And Rand is frozen with confusion when the sky above them rips open with a deafening crack. A colossal shadow monster with glowing red eyes emerges from the tier. Its voice booms across the strange dimension. Human, how dare you trespass upon the exiled lands of the underworld and defy the gods? It raises a shadowy claw. Your punishment is death. A massive beam of dark energy hurtles straight for her. The ground cracks under the force of the blast, and Ran is paralyzed with fear. The chained man snaps at her. Hey, why didn't you dodge? He calls her dumb again, and our girl has had enough. Are you insane? Are you so annoying? She screams back. Can't you see that I nearly died? But the monster rears back for another attack. We need to get out of here now. And Ran yells, trying to make a run for it. You cannot run away from me, the monster roars, unleashing another devastating blast. Save me, she cries, bracing for impact. The chained man's eyes widen. In a flash of movement, he throws himself in front of her, taking the full force of the attack to shield her. He pushes her away, his expression pained. She smells something burning and realizes he's been hurt. Why did he save me? She wonders, completely shocked. The monster is enraged. How dare you interfere with God's punishment? Die, it screams, blasting him again. Blood streams from his arm, but he only glares back with defiance. You're just a mere watchdog for the gods. His voice drips with venom. If it weren't for these chains, I would have already torn you into pieces. Get away from here, he yells at Ran. But our girl doesn't run. Instead, she grabs his chains, helping you take off these chains, of course, she declares. The monster laughs. It's no use. No one is able to free him from the chains of the gods, but as her hands touch the metal, a brilliant light shines, and the chains crack, then shatter. He stares in utter shock as the golden shackles break apart. The chains fly off, dissolving into light as he floats free. The entire dimension begins to destabilize. What is that? And Ran asks, pointing to a pink ribbon of light. The spirits that were once suppressed by the gods, he answers grimly. The monster panics. You broke the seal. The criminals have all escaped. I can't let you off. The man just smirks. Oh, really? With a single dismissive wave of his hand, he unleashes an attack that vaporizes the monster. You talk too much, he says coolly, and Ran is in awe. Wow, that was amazing. He stands there, looking impossibly cool despite the gash on his arm. But just as she's admiring him, one of the escaped spirits swoops down and wraps itself around her. The very ground beneath her shatters like glass. Save me, she screams, plummeting into the abyss. In a heartbeat, catching her and holding her bridal style. As she looks up at him, a strange feeling of familiarity washes over her. He carries her as the world returns to normal around them. The school grounds now peaceful and starlit. He gently sets her down and she stammers a thank you, but he just pushes her away. He looks her over with an unreadable expression. You've become human, he states flatly. No wonder you're so weak and dim-witted. And you look so dumb. And Ran is just a walking ball of confusion. Those spirits have escaped into the human realm. He warns her had better be careful. He glances at his bleeding arm. Though I don't really want to see you again. I don't want to see your dead body. And with that, he vanishes in a flash of light. Hey, she calls out, but he's already gone. She's left standing alone under the stars. I've become human? What's that supposed to mean? A frantic messenger bursts in, bringing catastrophic news to a shadowy figure on a throne. Apparently, the seal on the exiled lands has been broken, and evil spirits are now running loose in the human realm. But the mysterious, silver-haired man is completely unfazed. He cuts the messenger off with an icy calm, simply saying, I know. I have my own plans. Meanwhile, back a human realm, our girl in Ran is sprinting to school in a total panic. She's chanting, I'm screwed, over and over because she completely forgot to do her homework last night, thanks to a weird occurrence. Her only plan? Find a friend and copy theirs. She spots her bestie Wan and gives her a desperate smack on the back, but Wan is ready for the ambush, popping out with a terrifying mask that makes our poor heroine jump out of her skin. After recovering from her near-heart attack, and Ran gets down to business, begging for the homework. Her friend, however, is more concerned about the massive bags under her eyes, and Ran starts frantically explaining the crazy events of the night before, talking about a monster, a weird boy, and a swarm of spirits. She finishes her wild story, explaining how the boy saved her, and then everything went back to normal. That's why she couldn't sleep a wink. Her friends are skeptical, asking if she was just dreaming. I definitely was not, she insists. Wan pats her hand and says she believes her, but also that her chinibyo, or delusion antecedents, are incurable. And Ran is absolutely fuming that they think she's lying. Her friends just laugh it off, trying to calm her down. To distract her, they suggest going to watch the seniors' basketball game. But as the girls walk away, a shadowy figure watches them from the trees. It's none other than the weird boy from last night, Al looking broody and mysterious as ever. At the game, the star player. Senior Tanglan is on fire, and the crowd goes wild as he scores another point. And Ran's friends are screaming their heads off for the handsome senior. But our girl is totally in thought. She's still trying to process everything, wondering where Al is now. and what he meant when he said she'd become a human. Just then, a creepy-looking spider plops right onto her hand. There's a strange crackle of energy, and suddenly her friends have no idea what just happened. The world around Anran begins to glitch and distort, and she's yanked into a strange, alternate dimension. Again, she yells, completely fed up with this supernatural nonsense. She even scolds the spirits for having a terrible work ethic. Before she can finish her rant, a white thread wraps around her ankle and yanks her into the air. She screams, being dragged through this bizarre space. And then she sees the source, a massive, terrifying spider monster looming in front of her. She lets out a blood-curdling scream. But just as she's about to be devoured, a foot slams down on the thread, stopping. She looks up, and it's him. The mysterious boy Al. He looks disappointed. "I can't believe you're this weak," he says, unimpressed. He tells her he expected her to have recovered at least some of her spiritual powers by now. He explains that the spirits Asha freed are now running wild and attacking people. His grim conclusion, "If this continues, you're going to die." As if on cue, the spider monster reveals her true, horrifying form, licking her lips as she zeroes in on Anran's soul. Our girl absolutely loses it. Screaming spider monster, and diving behind Al for protection. But he just smoothly sidesteps her, letting her fall to the ground with a disgusted look. She's left on the floor, completely confused. "Why did you move your foot?" she screams. But instead of an answer, he just flicks her with his foot, sending her flying straight towards the monster. "It's up to you now," he says with an icy calm. He then adds with a chilling smirk, "Don't worry, if you ever come close to dying, I'll save you." And Rand's eyes widen in sheer terror. He has to be joking, right? A voice that suddenly whispers in her mind, "Come back. Nia." Before she can process the name, she's tangled in the spider's webs, totally trapped. She shoots a death glare at Al, who's just chilling on the sidelines, watching the show. He gives her a smug little wave and wishes her good luck. Fed up, Anran unleashes a furious kick, nailing the spider monster right in the face. She lands hard on the ground. Panting from the effort, she thinks about running, but Al gives her a slow, impressed clap. She snaps at him to shut his irritating mouth, but the spider monster is already getting back up. Now she looks pissed. The monster attacks with a flurry of webs, smacking our girl around relentlessly. But as she's hit, something awakens within her. A glowing star sigil appears on her forehead, and a powerful barrier erupts, blocking the attack. What's this? She wonders aloud. Suddenly, a splitting headache rips through her skull. A brilliant flash of light appears before her, materializing into a beautiful, glowing magical staff. The spider monster freezes, stunned, and Rand stares at the weapon, realizing it came from her own body. From the sidelines, Al smirks. "So it finally showed itself," he mutters, as our girl gets her magical girl transformation. She easily blocks the next attack, a new confidence surging through her. She dodges another web with graceful ease, and uses the staff to trip the giant spider. The monster stumbles and crashes to the ground, and Rand stands over the beast triumphantly. "You deserved it," she declares, but the spider hisses and gets up again. That's it, and Rand snaps, beating the monster over and over with her staff until it's finally knocked out cold. Al finally steps forward. With a flash of purple light, he announces he's taking the spirit's energy. He reaches into the spider's body and pulls out its glowing core, causing it to let out one final, agonizing shriek. And Rand watches in horror, absolutely stunned. Al holds the pulsating orb of energy. He turns and offers it to her staff. "Take it as a fee for your hard work." The staff absorbs the energy, revealing a tiny creature now sealed within it. But she is not having it. "You're kidding me," she screams. "You think this broken toy makes up for throwing me to that spider?" He just stares at her, his expression unreadable. He says one word, "Nia." And just like that, her eyes roll back and she collapses out cold. Everything goes black. She stirs, and her eyes slowly flutter open. She's in her bedroom. A calm voice says, "You're awake." She turns, and her heart stops. It's Al, in her room, with no shirt on, casually drinking a soda. She shrieks, "What are you doing here?" He just takes a sip and smirks. "What do you think? Here is your GO8 manhua recap script." Our girl wakes up to a living, breathing, six-pathing nightmare. A shirtless man is in her room, casually asking what happened last night. She clutches the blanket, her brain short-circuiting as he calmly explains he brought her home after she fainted. He leans in with a devilish smirk, adding that she was quite the spectacle. Apparently she was grinding her teeth, sleep-talking, and he kicked her blanket off in her sleep. The sheer, unadulterated humiliation. She is absolutely mortified. And then, the final blow. This chaotic, beautiful man declares he's staying in her house. She snaps. "Can't," she screams, trying to physically shove him out the door. But he just grabs her wrist, his voice dropping low. "Are you sure you want to do this?" He yanks her close, his breath warm against her ear. "Have you forgotten how scary those spirits can be? If I'm not around," he pauses for dramatic effect. "Who will protect you?" She freezes for a split second, her hoeing a tap dance against her ribs. But then her survival instincts kick back in and she explodes. You left me with a giant spider spirit. You nearly got me killed. Before she can land a punch, a loud bam 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 echoes from the front door. It's her friends. Panicked, she shoves the half-naked man into the kitchen, hissing at him to stay hidden while she deals with them. She opens the door and plasters on a smile, but her friends are immediately suspicious. She spits out the first lie she can think of. She got her period and needed to rest. They seem to buy it, but they can't shake the feeling that something is off. Suddenly, a loud slang from the kitchen shatters the fragile peace. Busted, and Rand scrambles for another lie, blaming it on her. Dumb dog see she. She stomps into the kitchen to find I, stacking soda cans into a pyramid. Seriously? In her rage, she doesn't see the can on the floor. She steps on it, her slipper sliding, and she loses her balance completely. She lets out a shriek as she goes flying, landing right on top of him with a thud. He looks up at her, completely unfazed. He says, his hand suddenly reaching for her face. He gently brushes her hair back, his eyes soft as he murmurs, Nia. She's completely flustered, stammering about a bug he supposedly saw. And of course, that is the exact moment her friends walk in to see them in the most compromising position imaginable. The silence is deafening, and Rand's soul leaves her body as she blurts out the most ridiculous lie yet. He is my younger cousin. Her friends give her a knowing look, say we won't disturb you, and make a swift exit. The door slams shut. Mortified beyond belief, our girl turns on I, her eyes blazing with fury. Jet! Loss. Later that night, and Rand tries to summon her magical staff, but nothing happens. The magic is gone. A cold dread washes over her as she realizes she can't reach her parents either. The line is dead. She tosses and turns, her mind racing with anxiety. Suddenly, a terrifying black rift tears open the sky outside her window. I steps out of it, but he's been in a fight. He's battered, bruised, and bleeding. He looks down at a tiny glowing orb in his hand, a miniature version of her, and whispers good night. He then turns and disappears back into the storm. The next morning, the sun is shining, and Rand tells herself it was all a horrible nightmare. But then her foot hits something on the floor. It's the glowing pearl from her dream. It was all real. She clutches the pearl, exhausted and terrified, realizing he was out there fighting something for her. At school, she desperately tries to explain everything to her friends, but they just it off as another one of her wild stories. She's completely alone in this. A sense of foreboding hangs over her as she sits at her desk. But she came prepared. She has her own protective gear today. Suddenly, her teacher slams his hand on her desk and ran. He accuses her of slacking off again. Before she can react, he yanks her backpack open to confiscate her manhuas. Instead, an entire set of kitchen knives, including a massive meat cleaver, clatters onto the desk. The teacher is speechless, then furious. My office, after school. He confiscates her only line of defense, leaving her with a stern warning. Our girl is now completely unarmed and terrified. Later, as she walks through a deserted part of the school, she feels a chill. A dark shadow lurks atop a bookshelf. A faint cough echoes through the room, and then the entire massive shelf begins to topple right over her. In a flash, I is there. He grabs her, pulling her out of the way just in time. His arm is steady, but his hand, it's a monstrous black claw. You idiot, he screams, his voice raw with fear. Don't walk into secluded places alone. He holds her, shaking slightly. Don't you realize how dangerous your situation is? His words are sharp and icy. Your life is no longer peaceful like before. Can't you be a bit more alert? That's the last straw. Our poor heroine breaks down completely. Tears stream down her face as she sobs that she can't do anything. Her parents are gone. Her friends don't believe her. And my teacher confiscated my self-defense gear. Seeing her so utterly broken, Ai's anger melts away. He gently pats her head. Don't cry. He tells her she's actually full of strength. She just can't control it yet. Believe in yourself. Then, with a sly grin, he offers a deal. He'll protect her, but his services are very expensive. He wants food, lodging, massages, and for her to sing to him on demand. The absolute nerve. She snaps, don't cross the line, but she can't stay mad. A small, reluctant smile graces her lips. Whatever. She agrees, offering to buy him dinner to seal the deal. As they walk off, neither of them notices the pair of piercing yellow eyes watching from a nearby rooftop. A mysterious black cat has taken an interest in them. Our poor girl finds herself in a painfully awkward situation with the mysterious pretty boy Ai. She remembers he was horribly injured just last time, but now he looks completely unaffected. What kind of inhuman healing speed is this? He catches her staring and snaps. What are you looking at? Before asking what she's so curious about. Taking a deep breath, she finally asks the question on her mind. What exactly are you? He gives a cryptic, chilling smile. He tells her he was once called the son of evil spirits, a person detested by God. But she doesn't need to know the rest. Her heart aches for him, wondering what kind of lonely, painful life he's lived. But he shatters the somber mood in an instant. You can only stay at my house for a period of time, he declares coolly. And before she can even react, he starts rattling off a ridiculous specific dinner order for steak. Our girl just forces a smile and agrees to his chaotic demands. A few moments later, a steaming bowl of Instant noodles is placed in front of him. He stares at it, completely bewildered. "What is this?" he asks. She cheerfully explains it's all they have, but hey, she even gave him the egg and ham sausage. He takes one skeptical bite, and his world is rocked. The noodles disappear in a chaotic slurping frenzy, the bowl left sparkling clean in seconds. He looks up, blushing slightly, and stammers, I want more. Our girl is delighted to whip up another batch, happy she can save money this way. But as the noodles boil, she has a moment of clarity. Is it really okay to let this total stranger with a bizarre physique stay with her? I must be crazy, she thinks. Suddenly she freezes. I is right behind her. He's so close she flinches away, asking what he's doing. He leans in, his voice a low whisper right by her ear. Smells so good. Our heroine's brain short-circuits. Instant noodles smell good. He clarifies, completely straight-faced. Then this absolute menace has the gall to add one more egg, and I want 2 ham sausages. Later, she tries to offer him the guest room, but he insists on staying in the tiny storage closet to her room. His excuse: it's too far away, and he needs to be close in case something happens to her. He slams the door in her face before she can argue. Totally baffled, our girl gives up and focuses on her homework, studying late into the night. Finally finished, she gives a big stretch, and her eyes land on a visitor at her window. It's a sleek black cat, and she's sure she's seen it before. The kitty hops down and starts rubbing against her legs like they're old friends. So cute, she thinks, completely charmed by the friendly feline. She pets its head as it purrs, wondering who its owner could be, totally missing the sinister glint in its eyes. An evil aura begins to emanate from the creature. At that exact moment, I, who was just relaxing, is a disturbance. His eyes fly open. With a brutal crack, he gets up, tossing a poor puppy aside. He storms out of his room and banged. He smashes her door open, his face a mask of fury. She jumps, terrified by his sudden entrance. "Why don't you knock before coming in?" she yells. He ignores her, his sharp eyes darting around the room. "Did anything come in just now?" he demands. "A cat came in earlier," she says, annoyed. His expression grows deadly serious. "A cat?" His gaze then drifts over to her laundry and lands squarely on her bra hanging up to dry. She follows his stare, her face turns a volcanic shade of red, and she absolutely screams. Jet out. Kicked out of the room, I ponders what just happened. Is it a spirit? Doesn't seem like it, unless... The next day at school, her friend and Ran bounces over. "Let's go buy some snacks at the kiosk." Our girl happily agrees, and Ran notes that their other friend is a bit cold, but our heroine quickly defends her. She's a good person, she insists. Just as Ran announces she has to use the bathroom, she waves and dashes off. While waiting, a sudden whoosh of movement catches her attention. She looks down and realizes her hairpin is gone. And there, sitting a few feet away, is the black cat holding her pin in its mouth. From a distance, a chilling smile plays on Xia Ying's lips. "Hey!" "Give that back." Our girl chases after the cat. It darts into a dark, abandoned room, the door creaking ominously. She follows it inside and stops dead in her tracks. She's standing in a massive, empty church, a giant statue of an angel looming over her. "Achoo," she whispers. The floor beneath her is a giant cross. Why is there a place like this in school? She wonders, cautiously stepping forward. She walks deeper into the silent, sun-drenched hall. "Meow? Where did you hide?" she calls out, searching for little thief. The stone eyes of the angel seem to follow her. A deep, chilling voice echoes from the statue. "Nia." She freezes under a spotlight. "Comb back." The voice booms, and a horrifying shadow of herself materializes behind her. The world warps around her. "This isn't the room I was just in," she gasps. She's back before the statue, which seems to glow with a divine light. What exactly is? She begins. The statue's face transforms into that of a beautiful, terrifying man who reaches for her. "Oh, child, come back to my side. Don't resist again." Suddenly, a heart-wrenching vision crashes over her. She's chained to a stake, flames licking at her feet. An angry mob screams, burn her to death. Her as witches. Overwhelmed by the horror, she screams, "Stop it!" And we're back. In a flashback, we see another angel having an audience with the big man upstairs. Our girl Nia and a pink-haired angel walk together, ready to do some good in the world. And boy does she. She spreads light and healing to the sick and the poor, a true beacon of hope. The people adore her, calling her a goddess. A sweet little girl even makes her a flower crown. Nia is so touched she accepts the gift, her smile lighting up the entire village. But just as our hearts are melting, the scene shatters. A desperate young girl screams, "You liar," at a shady-looking man. She shoves a wad of cash at him, begging him to cure her mother's sickness. But the man is pure evil. He slaps the money out of her hands, which are stained with blood, and sneers at her. He calls her filthy and says no one would ever cure her mom. The poor girl is shoved violently to the ground. Filled with rage and despair, she slams her fist against a stone wall. Our sweet Nia witnesses this whole heartbreaking exchange and approaches the girl. "Are you okay?" she asks gently. The girl looks up. her eyes blazing with pure hatred. "Are you from the shrine?" she spits. Nia, ever the innocent angel, just smiles sweetly and tells her to pray to God for help. Big mistake. The girl completely "Get lost!" she screams. "Who are you to tell me to pray to God? He's the cause of all my pain." Nia is absolutely stunned into silence, her perfect world cracking at the seams. Later, she tells her father, the God figure, about the strange girl hated him. He just smiles serenely. "This is his fate," he says. "When a person is born, God has already planned their life." Nia looks confused, but he continues his creepy monologue, saying everyone returns to him eventually and he'll wash away their misfortune. "Nia," he says, "you are the most one." But as he speaks, we see a flash of the suffering girl's face, her eyes filled with defiance. Whoosh! Back in the present, our girl Xiao Ran's eyes flutter open. She's in the school clinic, and the boy who found her is AI. The very same soul from her past. Her eyes widen in shock as the memories hit her like a truck. Right, it is indeed him, she thinks, a chill running down her spine. Exactly how long has he lived? This person is a monster. Ai leans in asking what's wrong. Stuttering, she admits she remembered something about her past life. Just as he's about to press for more, the door bursts open. Her friends rush in, worried sick after she fainted. They're loud, chaotic, and one of them even brought her homework notes. A true friend? Ai, looking annoyed, simply says she needs to rest. Later that night, the city lights twinkle outside her window. Xiao Ran is lying in bed, still processing everything. She lets out a heavy sigh. It's really true, she thinks, those memories. She can feel a faint energy pulsing within her, a remnant of her old power. As she focuses, she realizes what Ai meant when he told her to turn into a human. It's all coming back. She recalls her magical staff and the name engraved on it, Nia. But with these memories comes a dark realization. That man, her father, he always treated her warmly, but she never truly believed he was a good person. She decides she has to talk to Ai, and she's also going to catch that suspicious cat. Meanwhile, in a dark room, Ai is meeting with a mysterious hooded figure. "You unexpectedly asked for a favor from me," the figure says, which is really rare. The figure, with ethereal light blue hair, asks, "Are you sure you want this?" Ai, ever stoic, just says yes. The figure floats down, pressing him one last time. "Whatever you wish," the figure finally says, before completely vanishing into thin air. Ai sits alone in the sudden silence. But he's not alone for long. His door creaks open. It's Xiao Ran. "Ai," she says, her voice steady. "Do you have time right now?" He turns to face her. "I have some stuff to ask," she explains, stepping into his room, her eyes filled with a new, burning determination. Under the vast, starry sky, a chilly wind blows across the balcony. Our girl and her mysterious freeloader stand in the quiet night. He breaks the silence. "It's late. Do you need something from me?" With a serious face, she nods. "Uh-huh. It's very important." He leans in, curious, and our heroine, with all the dramatic weight in the world, puffs out her cheeks and demands, "When do you plan on paying the rent?" She stomps her little foot, reminding him he eats and sleeps in her house for free. But then she offers him a way out. He can pay his debt in another way. She wants him to teach her how to defeat spirits, and he also needs to tell her everything he knows about her past life. He questions her. "Didn't you say you remembered?" She sheepishly admits she only remembered some of it. He considers her proposal. "It's not like teaching you isn't okay," he starts, then pauses ominously. As she waits for his answer, our girl gets totally lost in his handsome face. And that's when he drops the most savage line ever. "You're so dumb. I don't even know if you'll understand." He even says her husky could probably learn faster. Oh, he didn't say that. Our girl is fuming. She snaps, "What did you say?" and starts chasing him around the balcony in a fit of rage. The next day at school, our poor heroine can't stop yawning. Her friend immediately starts teasing her. Could it be you and your boyfriend? Our girl blushes, telling her not to say such false things. Her other friend chimes in, scolding her for not resting properly after fainting yesterday. Internally, our heroine knows she can't tell them the truth about learning magic. It's better not to get them involved. Suddenly, they overhear a commotion down the hall. A classmate runs up, exclaiming, "And Ran! Our class has a new transfer student." She explains that this new guy is a total menace who beat a basketball player on his first day and even stole someone's seat. They walk into the classroom, and there he is, sitting by the window like he owns the place. It's him, her freeloader. He smirks at her. "Why did you arrive so late?" Our girl is absolutely floored. Her friends whisper, "Isn't that Rand's cousin or something?" Marches up to his desk, fuming. "Why are you a transfer student? And that's my seat." He just glances over at the poor kid whose seat he stole. The look in his eyes is so terrifying that the boy instantly panics. He stammers, "Please sit. I can just go the back." Our girl having a full-blown meltdown. Her chaotic home life has now invaded her school. Just then a voice rings out, "Tanglan's here!" The captain of the basketball team strides in to confront the guy. "So you're A? You beat up one of my team members? Let's settle this." Without a word, I just says, "Okay," and Rand tries to rush forward to stop them, but her friends hold her back, warning her that it's dangerous. A loud boom echoes through the schoolyard. Just like that, it's over. Tang Lan is on the ground, completely defeated. He admits, as expected, you're strong. But he's not giving him to a basketball match instead. Later that night, it's time for magic training. An adorable little bunny spirit appears. Our girl immediately goes into battle mode, yelling, "Demon!" The rabbit zips away and she gives chase, amazed by its speed. He coaches her from the side. "If you keep doing this, you won't be able to catch it by tonight." He reminds her to use her spiritual power. With newfound determination, she focuses and shouts, "Cobweb!" A magical net shoots from her staff, but the smug little rabbit dodges it with ease. Our poor heroine gets tangled in her own spell, flailing around helplessly. But she doesn't give up. After chaotic struggle, she finally catches it. She holds up the squished bunny, beaming with pride. Am I not amazing? She's practically glowing with victory, but he's completely unimpressed. "It's merely a rabbit, and yet you are so proud." He looks down at her with an icy expression. She asks if other spirits are like the demon spider they fought before. Her eyes are wide with curiosity as she listens to his explanation. He tells her that the demon spider was once a divine being, but it was punished by God for taking too many lives. He warns her there are many more terrifying spirits out there. But our girl is a little distracted by the weird rabbit in her hands. Suddenly, she shrieks, "Wah!" The rabbit urinated. How gross. Startled, she loses her balance and topples backward off the roof. As she falls, she screams for him to save her, while he just looks on in utter disbelief at her chaotic energy. Slam! They both crash to the ground below. They sit up, dazed and, well, a little damp. She's completely mortified. He turns away, trying to play it cool. "Don't take it to heart. I did not feel anything at all." "By mistake?" "What did you say?" She roars. She gives him a well-deserved smack. The next morning, R tries to sneak out of the house. She peeks left, then right, moving with extreme caution. But it's no use. A voice calls out, and she freezes like a deer in headlights. He's standing right there, smirking. "You're up early today." She finds herself walking to school with him yet again, completely defeated. As they walk, he suddenly stops her. "Your hair isn't tied properly," he says, reaching out to fix a stray strand. Her heart does a little flip-flop, a badum. The sudden closeness sends a jolt through her, and she flinches away, her face bright red. She scrambles away, totally flustered. One moment he's so infuriating, and the next he's so gentle. It's giving her whiplash, but as she runs ahead, she comes to a firm conclusion. Sure enough, he's still just plain annoying. Here we go again, diving back into the chaotic world of high school drama at the Holy Trinity Institute. Our girl is trying to get some quiet reading time, lost in a book about finding a friend to share your deepest thoughts with. But her eyes wander to the resident bad boy, I, with his long, untamed hair. She scoffs internally. Of course the teachers let him get away with it. It's the handsome privilege, obviously. Just then, a teacher steps in with a huge announcement. All freshmen are going on a mandatory mountain climbing trip tomorrow, and Rand's eyes light up. Mountain climbing? No class, no homework. She is absolutely over the moon with joy. Her friends immediately start buzzing about what to wear for the trip. The senior leader, Tang Lan, watches the excited students with a sly little smirk. Oh, what's he plotting? The girls chatter, and one of them glances over at I, sitting all by his lonesome. He just stares back, looking bored with the entire universe. The next day, everyone is gathered by the bus. Tang Lan officially introduces himself, and our girl and Ran greets him with an adorable smile, looking all geared up for the adventure. Suddenly, a boy with glasses runs up to her, calling her name. He's asking about a manga, but their friendly chat is cut short by a cold presence. An icy hand lands on the boy's shoulder. It's AI. "Glasses shorty," he sneers. "Why are you competing me for seats?" And Rand flushes bright red, her heart pounding in her chest. I won't sit with you," she stammers, completely flustered. She immediately turns and marches away from him. Luckily, her friends are total lifesavers, calling her over to a seat they saved just for her. I is left standing alone in the aisle, looking like a thundercloud. Tang Lan boards the bus, asking if everyone is ready to go, only to find there are no seats left. Except for the entire empty row. A is occupying all by himself. Without missing a beat, Tang Lan slides into the seat right next to him. The two campus heartthrobs side by side, radiating enough tension to power a small city. Meanwhile, Rand's friends are talking about a mobile game. One of them leans in conspiratorially. "Little Rand, surely you don't like the bad boy type?" And Rand nearly jumps out of her skin. "Huh? That's impossible," she squeaks, denying it with every fiber of her being. But a few seats away, a certain bad boy hears everything, and a tiny, satisfied smirk plays on his lips. "I prefer the gentler type," and Rand declares, which earns a pleasant smile from Tang Lan. This time, it's I's turn to scowl, his good mood vanishing in an instant. Her friend Wan Wan watches this whole exchange, a knowing look in her eyes. She can see the drama brewing from a mile away. They finally arrive at the mountain. And our little nugget is ecstatic, cheering about the fresh air and no more exams. The girls start their hike, but their path is suddenly blocked by AI. He glares daggers at the pink-haired girl, Xia Ying. His voice is dangerously low. "Stay away from her," Xie Ying freezes, completely shocked. But our heroine won't stand for it. She jumps right between them, her small frame trembling but resolute. "You shouldn't bully my friends," she yells. She quickly turns to her friend, full of concern. "Xie Ying, all right?" Trying to move past the awkwardness, the girls continue up the path, pointing out cute squirrels in the trees. They stop to admire a tiny bird on a rock. When Ran happens to glance up, she sees Ai sitting all by himself, looking strangely melancholic. A flicker of concern crosses her face before she looks away. Their journey leads them to a rickety, terrifying suspension bridge high above a ravine, and Ran's blood runs cold. She's petrified of heights, but she tries to give herself a pep talk. "I can do it." She takes a shaky first step, her body trembling. From the other side, Ai watches her intently. But he's not the only one. Wan steps up beside him, her voice sharp. "If you are worried about her, why don't you just go to her? I'm warning you. If you don't intend to be with little Ran, then don't randomly provoke her." Ai tries to brush her off. "It's none of your business." But Wan is not playing games. She grabs his arm, stopping him cold. Her eyes are filled with a fierce, protective fire. "If you hurt her, I will not forgive you. I don't care who you are." Ai looks down, his expression unreadable, and his voice is barely a whisper. "I won't," he promises. "Once she is safe from danger, I will simply leave and never appear again." Their intense exchange is spotted by Xie Ying, who immediately grows suspicious. And Ran, of course, has no idea what just happened. Xie Ying runs up to her and whispers a venomous little comment. "You should watch out, your little boyfriend might be snatched away." Then she ditches her and runs ahead. "Hey, wait for me!" And Ran calls out, slightly annoyed. She wonders why Xie Ying always has to be so harsh with her words. She tries to convince herself that her friend doesn't mean it. But in that exact moment, a horrifying crack echoes through the air, followed by a piercing scream. The bridge gives way beneath Xie Ying's feet, and she plunges into the canyon below. "She's falling!" Extricate. Everyone shrieks her name. And Ran can only watch, frozen in absolute terror. A rescue ladder is quickly thrown down the cliffside. But our poor heroine is trapped in a spiral of guilt and horror. "It was me," she thinks, her mind shattering. "If I had pulled her over in time..." Here we go again, folks. Hold on to your seats, because things are about to get chaotic. With a terrifying whoosh, our girl's friend Xie Ying plummets down the side of a jagged cliff, and Ran watches in horror, crying out that it's all her fault. Her hand trembles with guilt and fear. She's racked with regret, her eyes filling with tears. Snapping out of it, she declares, "I must go and find her." But as she moves to jump, Ai grabs her arm. "Wait," she cries out, but his gaze is icy cold. "Let me go." He warns her that the situation is unknown and she should stay put, but our heroine isn't having it. "Then I will go with you," she insists. Ai sighs, telling her she can't. Then he gives her an adorable little cheek pinch. "Why did you pinch me?" she squeaks, insisting that Xie Ying is her friend too. A tiny chuckle escapes his lips. Without another word, he leaps off the cliff like an action hero. "Stay there obediently," he calls back, as Ran screams for him to wait. Back on top of the cliff, things are a mess. The calls to the teacher aren't going through. And Ran fumes. Why did he decide all that on his own? Her friends try to reason with her, but she's determined. If Xie Ying is hurt, they need to act fast. Seeing her resolve, Wan agrees to go as well. Just as they're about to descend, a new voice pipes up. It's the class president. He smirks, having apparently seen the whole thing unfold. Night falls and the forest becomes a seriously spooky place. The remaining friends venture into the darkness, hoping they're on the right path. And Ran, ever practical, tells them to look for clues, like fallen planks from the bridge. Tanglan tries to be optimistic, saying the trees probably broke Xie Ying's fall. They are not alone. A pair of glowing golden eyes watches them from the bushes, followed by a sinister rustle. Suddenly, a glowing tendril whips through the air, shooting straight out of the darkness. Before they can react, the vines wrap around Wan and Tanglan, squeezing them tight. And Ran watches in pure horror as her friends cry out in pain. "What exactly are these vines?" she screams, and with a surge of power, she orders them to disappear. A brilliant light explodes from her body, and just like that, the vines are gone. Her friends have vanished with them. She stands alone, trembling. Was it the work of spirits? She wonders. Her eyes widen with a sudden dawning horror. A familiar scent fills the air, and she looks down to see the little black cat from before. She gets a chilling feeling that she's being toyed with, completely isolated from her friends. Then it clicks. "Golden eyes," she gasps. "It's that black cat." What was this creature? The cat darts off into the woods, and with no other choice, she gives chase. It might be a trap, she thinks, but I have to find them. Panting, she finally breaks into a clearing, and there, standing as if nothing happened, is Xie Ying. But something is wrong. Xie Ying smiles, a chillingly sweet expression on her face. "Your Royal Highness, my princess," she says. "I have been waiting for you." And Ran is completely baffled. "What are you talking about? Who are you?" Xie Ying's smile widens. "I am Xie Ying, and I am God's most loyal servant." A blindingly bright magic circle erupts beneath their feet. I have come to bring you back to his side. And Ran can only stare, her world crumbling around her. I have been waiting quietly for this moment. The angel declares, "It is time for you to return to the side of God." The scene warps into a hellscape. Wan Wan and Tang Lan are chained to glowing crosses. These filthy things caused you to revolt against God's will. Xia Ying sneers. Things? And Ran echoes in disbelief. What are you going to do to them? She screams. Xia Ying looks down on her with pity. These blasphemers who bewitched you, their souls will be cast into the underworld for eternity. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the ravine, Ai lands and immediately senses danger. It's a trap swarming with high-tier servants of God. Let's end this quickly, he growls, his eyes flashing with deadly intent. He has to get to his princess. And Ran, I will be there soon. Back in the celestial trap, and Ran is encased in a sphere of water, completely powerless. She struggles, but it's useless. Xia Ying tells her to stop fighting. These sinners must be punished, she says coldly. If you had left God's side, none of this would have happened. And Ran's burn with pure rage. Suddenly, with a massive explosion of power, and Ran shatters her prison. She summons a golden staff, and with a mighty swing, she smashes the chains holding her friend. She catches Wan Wan, glaring defiantly. I won't allow you to hurt her. But just as she says it, new chains erupt from the ground, binding and Ran herself. Xia Ying just lets out a cruel laugh. Little princess, since you are so uncooperative, you will be punished, Xia Ying taunts. These chains will endlessly burn your soul. And Ran screams her name in fury, her heart breaking from the betrayal. We all considered you a friend. Do you really want to do this? Xia Ying's expression turns to one of disgust. Friends, how disgusting. To me, only the word of God is absolute. A massive blast of energy sends and Ran flying. But she doesn't hit the ground. A strong arm catches her. It's Ai. Look at how disheveled you are without me around, he says. His voice a low growl. You never stop worrying others. Weakly, she begs him to save their friends before Xia Ying can drag them to the underworld. A deep, ancient voice speaks through Ai. Great. His eyes glow with an otherworldly light as he grabs his choker. Now, you use the tools you used to deal with me back then on your precious princess. He scoffs. This is the love of that trash god. Xia Ying is enraged. You dare to insult a god? And Ran looks up, confused. But the man holding her is different. Cat ears have sprouted from his hair. Insult, he sneers, his voice dripping with venom. Manipulating and toying with others' fates. I feel sick from merely mentioning him. Xia Ying shrieks, shut your mouth, as he unleashes a torrent of dark energy. With a deafening crackle, all the celestial magic shatters. The chains, the crosses, all of it that dissolves into light. Her friends are safe, and Ran turns to look at Ai, who now stands under the full moon, a tail swaying behind him. Thank you, she stammers. She's still in shock over Xia Ying's betrayal, blaming herself for being so naive. Ai's harsh expression softens as he looks at her. He gently takes her hand. You are hurt, he murmurs. She tries to brush it off, but he lifts her hand to his lips and places a gentle kiss on her knuckles. Just believe in what you think is right, he says softly. I will handle the rest. Our girl's heart flutters, a blush creeping up her cheeks. He then points to a mark on her neck. Wait! What are you going to do? She yelps flustered, but instead of whatever she was imagining, he suddenly slumps against her. My head hurts, he groans. Eh? She asks concerned. She touches his forehead and flinches. You're burning up. As she holds him, a strange feeling washes over her. Her consciousness feels like it's being sucked away. Her vision fades to white. She finds herself in a strange, snowy memory. A younger, heartbreakingly sad Ai stands before a grave. She can feel his sorrow. Who could have passed away? It seems we're about to dive into Ai's tragic past. Here is the script for your YouTube manhwa recap. In the powerful Lancaster family, two young lords cross blades in the courtyard, but they're not alone. Hiding behind a tree is our protagonist, watching with a burning intensity. He clenches his fist, his gaze serious and unwavering. I must become strong, he thinks, a fire lighting up in his determined eyes. Suddenly, a woof-woof shatters the silence. The practice is interrupted as the family dogs start barking. The jig is up. One of the brothers spy and points an accusing finger, his face twisted in a sneer. You lowly, illegitimate child. You dare to peek at our sword practice? Ai steps out from his hiding spot, bowing his head in apology. He asks to join them to learn swordsmanship too. The older brother smirks cruelly. Ha ha ha, he says, his voice dripping with condescension. But don't start crying when you get hurt. Our sweet boy doesn't see the trap, he just beams, his eyes shining with hope. It's fine. As long as I can learn, I can tolerate any wounds. The two brothers share a dark, wicked look. The older one lifts his fingers to his lips and lets out a piercing whistle. The friendly dogs instantly turn into a pack of snarling beasts, lunging straight for Ai. He freezes, his face a mask of pure horror as sharp teeth snap inches from his throat. His so-called brothers just turn and walk away. Let's go, one says without a shred of remorse. He's probably for anyway. To them, he's nothing, just the disgusting result of a woman who shamed their family by running off with an evil spirit. Behind them, splattered with blood, Ai is left panting and broken, his clothes ripped to shreds. The attack was so vicious it forced his hidden wolf ears to pop out. He clutches his bleeding arm, trembling, but even then he grits his teeth. He tells himself it's all right. If this is what it takes to get stronger, he can handle anything, because there's someone he has to protect. He stumbles back to his rundown little house. A warm, gentle voice calls out, "You're back." It's his mother greeting him with a loving smile. "Mom made your favorite dish," but her smile instantly vanishes. "You're hurt," she shrieks, her eyes wide with fury and panic. "Tell Mother who bullied you. Mother will get justice for you." Ai quickly shakes his head, forcing a painful smile. "No, please don't go." "I'm fine," he lies. "Elder brothers were just teaching me." His mother isn't fooled. Her face crumbles in despair as she pulls him into a hug. I am sorry," she whispers, her voice breaking. "Your mother is useless and lets you get treated, so he tries to be strong for her. That's not true. I am a man now. I will protect you." But she cuts him off with heart-shattering words. I'm afraid Mother doesn't have much time left." His world stops. "No, that's not true. You will recover." Lying weak in her bed, she explains the grim truth. "It's useless. This is all because of God's curse. We broke the rules. It was a forbidden love between two different races, a love that fated their souls to be exhausted until death." But she looks at him, her eyes soft with love. She never regretted being with his father, even when the world called him a monster. The only person she feels she failed is him. "The only person I owe is you." "I'm sorry," she whispers as tears finally stream down his face. "No," he screams, refusing to accept it. "I will find a doctor. Your illness will be cured." He bolts out of the house, a desperate child on a frantic mission. He bangs on every doctor's door, his small fist pounding against the wood. "Please, save my mother." Even with the money he offers, every single door is slammed in his face. He screams his frustration into the cold, uncaring street. Why is no one willing to help? He collapses, utterly defeated. "What can I do? Who can help me?" Just as all hope seems lost, a soft voice cuts through his despair. "Are you all right?" A beautiful, ethereal girl appears before him. "Do you have any difficulties? I can help you." She tells him to pray. "If you have any troubles and you are in distress, you just have to pray to God. You will then receive salvation." "It's impossible." He snaps back. "My mother was cursed by God." But tiny, dangerous seed of hope takes root in his heart. What if she's right? What if he prayed enough? Could it be? Will God forgive my mother? With renewed purpose, he runs as fast as he can to the giant cathedral. He throws himself down before the magnificent statue of God. "I beg of you, please forgive my mother," he pleads, his voice cracking. "If a curse is due, then curse me." He prays with all his might, offering himself up completely. "I am willing to bear it all. I beg of you, let Mother be cured." He begs, but his own mother's weary words echo in his head. "Foolish child, he will still ignore you. Since the rules are set by God and your father and I disobeyed, God will bestow punishment upon us both." He remembers her pale, fading face, her final heartbreaking apology. "Our biggest regret is not taking better care of you." "I am sorry, He sobs over her lifeless body, his small hands clutching her cold ones. "Please don't, Joe, Mother," he wails. "If praying to God could change fate, then there wouldn't much despair in this world." The cruel voices of his relatives echo in his ears, mocking his grief. They called her a sinner who defied God's will, and him a non-human monster. They said they were all mistakes that were never supposed to exist. His sorrow boils over, hardening into something dark and cold. He returns to the church, but the little blonde girl is there, blocking his path. "Stop right there. What are you doing?" He doesn't answer. He raises a steel pipe high above his head, and with a scream of pure, heart-wrenching agony, he brings it down, shattering the statue of the god who forsook him. The girl watches, paralyzed with shock, as he lets out a final, raw scream. His mother's tombstone stands cold and silent. Ai stands before it in the pouring rain. Completely empty, completely alone. The little girl, from a distance, her heart aching for him. Why is father not helping him? She wonders, what can I do to help him? A memory, or perhaps a vision, flashes through her mind of her holding him. A moment of warmth in the bitter cold. As they lie together in the grass, a black cat watches them from the darkness under a full moon. The cat pads silently into a glowing magic circle, and in a flash of white feathers, it transforms into a stunning man with golden hair and angelic wings. He is her father. He gazes down at her sleeping form. "Nia, you have left home for too long. Your father has come to bring you back." He caresses her cheek, but his eyes are icy as he looks at the boy beside her. "I will slowly clean up those eyesores, those little trash," he says softly. "Your father will show you that these people will only bring you harm." His touch becomes possessive, his smile chilling. "Only I can bring you happiness. When you are home," he whispers, "Father will give you the most luxurious of wreaths and let you wear the most beautiful white dress." The image of a bird trapped in a golden cage appears. "You will be the most perfect bride in this world." On a cold, snowy night, a voice from the heavens begs for forgiveness. It was I who underestimated how crazy AI could be. A young angel in training looks up at her superior, who continues to plead for another chance after his mistake. Her face twists in horror as he makes a dark vow to eliminate his target next time. But then his entire demeanor shifts, becoming cold and distant. Forget it, it's fine. He delivers the final, heart-wrenching blow with an icy gaze, because you are useless now. Before the poor girl can even scream, he unleashes a blinding, divine power right at her. She begs for one more chance, but it's utterly useless. He absorbs her very essence, coldly stating, "Become part of my power. I will always remember your loyalty to God." The scene shifts and Gao speaks to another one of his followers, a blonde-haired boy. He gives him a new order, forget his old mission and return to his side. With a flash of brilliant light, he summons a spiritual artifact, a simple pair of glasses. He explains this will hide his true identity from the mortal world. He puts them on, a smug, self-satisfied smile gracing his lips. Meanwhile, a lost soul flutters near a church, completely disoriented. God's voice echoes in a haunting memory, calling out to Nia. We see a vision of our heroine chained and surrounded by flames, screaming her defiance. "No, I don't wanna." He tries to manipulate her, reminding her of the betrayal and despair of the mortal world. Then he drops the most insane proposal ever. "Marry me." Stop trying to escape, but even in this nightmarish vision, our girl's spirit is unbreakable. "No," she declares, "I will never yield to you. And the future you have arranged for me." Bam! Nia jolts awake to find Ai's face just inches from hers. He asks why she was yelling no in her sleep. She completely freaks out and he recoils, blaming her for not avoiding him. As the chaos settles, she remembers something. "Oh, right, I seem to have seen AI's childhood. Was that true? Or just a dream I had?" Her head throbs, the memory just out of reach. She asks Ai where they are, only to be greeted by their friends, Wan and Mantis. Wan rushes over, explaining that after they fell from the cliff, the teachers and police couldn't find them. Nia is totally confused. What is going on? Mantis whispers that the teachers' memories related to God were wiped clean. They would have been done for if a young man hadn't saved them. And speak of the devil, there he is, a handsome, blonde-haired student. He introduces himself as Charles and says it's his villa. But wait! He looks suspiciously familiar. Ai's danger dar is going off the charts. He immediately senses this guy is bad news and grabs Nia, telling her they're leaving. He tries to drag her out, claiming outside food is unsanitary. Nia has to whisper that he's being incredibly rude to their savior. Charles just keeps on smiling that perfectly pleasant, totally not a supervillain smile, telling them it's getting late. As Ai pulls our girl away, Charles calls out, "I just wait." He watches them go with a chillingly sweet expression. "Don't rush, take it easy," he says to himself. "We will meet again real soon." The scene flashes to a memory of a younger, more innocent Nia. Back at their place, Mantis scolds Ai for being so rude to Charles, but Ai is unmoving. "I can tell that this Char-something guy isn't a good person. That guy is an eyesore." Nia challenges him, asking for proof. Ai gets so worked up he shouts. Instincts and his adorable wolf ears literally pop out of his head. Nia can't help it. She bursts out laughing at how cute he looks. Ai gets completely flustered, trying to blame it on his unstable blood vessels. Nia's eyes sparkle with pure mischief. They look so fluffy. "Can I touch them?" Ai immediately shuts her down. "You can't, absolutely not." She pouts, calling him a cheapskate. And then she makes her move. She lunges forward and grabs them. He freezes in utter shock as she squeals with joy. "Wow. It's so fluffy." She gently ruffles his ears, noting how warm and cute they are. It feels like she's petting a big dog, and all Ai can do is sit there blushing from head to toe. But then the mood shifts. Nia looks at him seriously. "Thank you for helping me with this matter." She's admitting that, with him, she would probably be dead by now. Ai, still flustered, tries to play it cool. He tells her not to blame herself for Xia Ying's betrayal, insisting it was all part of God's twisted plan and not her fault. Nia then mentions her dreams, and how she saw his younger self when she passed out before. She looks at him, hesitant to continue. He asks what she saw. She tells him she saw his abusive brother and his sick mother. He confirms that those were real memories, explaining she must have seen them because they were so close when his powers were unstable. She apologizes for prying, but he says it's okay. In that quiet moment, Nia feels a weird, new emotion stirring in her heart. Our wolf boy, Ai tries to brush off his painful past, claiming he doesn't care anymore. He tells Anran it's fine that she saw his vulnerable side. But our girl sees right through him. Her heart aches as she whispers his name. She knows he's been through something awful, something he'd never normally show anyone. Gathering her courage, she reaches out, gently cupping his face. "You can talk to me anytime," she says, her eyes full of genuine concern. The simple act of kindness melts him. He leans into her touch with a soft purr, and then he pulls her into a tight embrace. He buries his face in her shoulder, holding her close. And Ran is completely stunned by the sudden hug, her cheeks flushing a deep red, but Ai just holds her tighter, whispering, "You'll be all right." And then, just as quickly as it started, they spring apart, the moment broken, and Ran, flustered beyond belief, stammers that it's late and she needs to sleep. She points a shaky finger at him, telling him to rest too. Before bolting up the stairs, I just watches her go, a tiny, knowing blush creeping onto his face. Meanwhile, our heroine is having a full-blown meltdown in her room. We hugged. She screams into her pillow, replaying the feeling of his firm chest. She spirals, wondering if he likes her or if he was just sad. But then the chaotic realization hits her. But he, as a dog, what shall? She smacks herself with the pillow, trying to shut her brain off. Elsewhere, a mysterious blonde man receives a package under the cover of night. He gives a final, cryptic instruction to the delivery boy, before looking up towards the house with a sly smirk. Yeah, this guy is definitely bad news. The next day in class, the teacher announces a new transfer student, and Rand's jaw drops. It's him. The blonde guy from last night introduces himself as Charles, an exchange student from Europe. He flashes the class a dazzling smile, and of course, they all immediately swoon over the handsome newcomer. And Rand's friend recognizes him as the guy who saved them before, and Rand can only stare in disbelief. To her horror, the teacher points to the only empty seat in the room, right next to her, and Rand freezes as Charles makes his way to the desk. He slides into the chair and leans in close. We meet again. He purrs, it must be fate, and Rand forces a laugh, but the other girls are already gossiping about them. She nervously glances back at I, but he isn't even looking their way. He seems to not care at all, and then Rand's heart sinks. I guess I overthought it last night, she thinks sadly. Just then, Charles gets her attention, laying the charm on thick and asking her to take care of him. As she agrees, she sees I get up and walk out of the classroom. His head is down, but a flash of pure, icy rage crosses his face before he disappears. Lakeside, the girls are all fawning over Charles. When one gets too bold and tries to touch his hair, he sharply blocks her hand. My apologies, he says with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. I don't like it when others touch me. The girl backs off, embarrassed, and Rand figures he's just a germaphobe. Another girl offers to give him a school tour, but he shuts her down instantly. Instead, he turns his attention to Anran, asking her to show him around. The entire group is shocked, and Anran is flustered by the sudden attention. Suddenly, an ice-cold voice cuts through the chatter. It's I. All of you are making too much noise, he says. His eyes dark. The sight of you swarming together is unpleasant. He turns and stalks away, leaving everyone completely stunned. After her friend gives her a nudge, and Rand decides to go after him, worried about his sudden mood swing. She catches up to him, calling his name. Why did you follow me? He asks, his back still to her. She tries to explain the situation with Charles, but his expression remains like stone. What does that have to do with me? He snaps. His voice is utterly devoid of emotion. I'm not interested, he says, turning his back on her completely. Stop following me. And Ran is left frozen in place, the harsh words echoing in her ears. Tears well up in her eyes as the rejection sinks in. Just as she's about to break down, Charles appears. You seem unhappy, he says with faux concern. He pushes, asking if it's because of I. He even offers to explain the misunderstanding for her, reaching out to touch her. And Ran immediately flinches away from his hand, refusing his help. Charles's eyes glint with a sinister light. Is that so? He says softly. A strange power emanates from him, and Ran suddenly cries out, clutching her head in an agony. As she collapses, Charles looms over her with a twisted smile. Since you care about him so much, he whispers, let me show you how he treated you back then. Miles away, I suddenly stops in his tracks, sensing a dark aura. Realization dawns, and he sprints back, his heart pounding. He finds Ran unconscious and rushes to her side, frantically trying to wake her. She mumbles in her sleep, her face contorted in fear. Don't, she whispers, don't kill me. I freezes, his blood running cold. He knows exactly which memory she's reliving, and his eyes fill with horror and despair. Here we go, buckle up, buttercups. It's about to get chaotic. Our poor girl finds herself trapped in a nightmare, falling through an endless, starry abyss. This isn't just a dream, it's a memory, and it's a terrifying one. Suddenly, she's face to face with an icy cold stare telling her to leave him alone. Her voice is gone, trapped in her throat by pure fear. He snarls that he'll kill her if she ever comes near him again. The pressure is immense. She can't even breathe. He grabs her, and the look in his eyes is pure murder. Our girl is trembling, convinced he's about to end her right here, right now. But then he screams, get lost, and an inhuman howl tears from his throat. He collapses, his body convulsing as he begins to transform right before her eyes. The transformation is violent and explosive. Standing before her is no longer a man, but a massive, snarling beast. She's frozen solid, staring into its blood-colored eyes. The scent of a wild animal fills the air, and she knows it could rip her to shreds in a heartbeat. A vicious slash cuts through the darkness, and she wakes up. Someone is calling her name. It's him, I looking down with concern. But the nightmarish. She violently shoves him away, screaming, don't come near me. He's completely baffled by her reaction, and her terror-filled eyes only see the wolf from her dream. The poor boy just looks completely heartbroken by her rejection. Just then, another boy rushes in with a teacher, calling her name, and ran. He explains that she fainted and he ran to get help. As they guide our shaken heroine away, I just watches, a shadow of pain on his face. The whole situation is just a mess of misunderstandings, leaving our two leads looking utterly miserable. Later, in the infirmary, Ran finally gets a grip. She realizes it was just a fragment of a memory, a horrible nightmare. She knows deep down that despite his cold exterior, I would never truly want to harm her. Feeling a wave of guilt, she decides she has to find him and apologize. But it might be too late. I is already walking away, looking completely and utterly alone. After school, Ran is filled with regret. I skipped class, and she's sure it's her fault. Suddenly, Charles, the boy who helped her, appears. She confesses it was all a big misunderstanding because of a nightmare, and he encouraged her to explain everything to I. But lurking in the shadows, I sees them talking, and his heart just shatters. Misunderstanding level 1, and he turns and walks away, defeated. Night falls, and Ran paces her room, waiting anxiously. The clock ticks relentlessly, and there's still no sign of I. She starts to panic, wondering if he's run away for good. Suddenly, her pendant begins to glow. Her magical staff appears out of thin air, resonating with something. With I's pendant, a massive beam of light erupts from a nearby building. From a dark room, a sinister man watches the light, muttering about someone not being well behaved. Two figures, a boy and a girl, appear beside him, offering to handle the situation. The man smiles, agreeing to their plan. He holds up a dark, corrupted-looking charm. He instructs them to be gentle with their sister, but to show zero mercy to that filthy dog. The girl just gives a chillingly cheerful yes. Meanwhile, I stands alone on a desolate cliff. The ground around him littered with the bloody skulls of slaughtered animals. This is private hell. Suddenly, Ran is teleported right above him, dropping out of the sky with a shriek. She lands with a bump, complaining about the rough landing. Completely oblivious to the grim scene around her, I is stunned to see her, but she just smiles, relieved. So this is where you were, she says, immediately launching into an apology for her behavior earlier. He looks down, his voice barely a whisper. Are you not afraid of me? She asks him plainly. Are you going to hurt me? He snaps his head up, his denial swift and absolute. Never. I would never hurt you. She beams, her trust in him absolute. I believe you, she says, grabbing his hand. Let's go back together. He's touched but asks why she even came looking for him, suggesting it might be better if he just disappeared. Her response is swift and fierce. You're my important friend. I don't want to lose you. His heart stutters at the word friend, but he hides his disappointment. Just as they're about to leave, a voice thunders from above. Stop right there. The two creepy siblings are floating in the sky, looking down on them with contempt. The girl, Lilith, sneers, declaring that this place will be their grave. And Ran freezes. She recognizes her. This is the main villain, the father's only daughter. Before she can react, a massive wave of dark energy erupts, blasting them apart. Here we go again, folks. Buckle up, because this is about to be a wild ride. We're in the underworld, inside some ancient ruins, and our girl is in a full-blown panic. She cradles Al's unconscious form, screaming his name. She begs him to wake up, her voice trembling as she wonders what on earth she should do. His eyes remain closed, his face pale and still. Our poor heroine is completely lost. When suddenly, the scene shifts. We see a lone figure sitting amidst the ruins, a picture of pure grief. Nia looks up, realizing with a jolt that she's not alone. A stunningly beautiful man with silver hair appears, admitting he might regret his past actions. He sips from his glass, his gaze distant and melancholic. Nia, still reeling, snaps at him, demanding to know who he is. The mysterious man turns, his eyes holding ancient secrets. Who I am is not important, he says with a cool smirk. His voice drops to a whisper. The important thing is, do you know who you are? A blinding light engulfs our girl, and we're thrown into a flashback. Long ago in the moonlit gardens of the underworld, Al finds Nia by a shimmering pool. So here you are, he says, his voice tight with emotion. I've been looking for you. But his expression is icy. He turns away, declaring there's nothing left to talk about. He dismisses her coldly, telling her to leave. But Nia isn't having it. She grabs his arm, her eyes wide and pleading. She cries, I have something important to tell you. She reveals her secret. She is the god's daughter. And bam! Another flashback, this time 2 years earlier. We see a younger Al with his sick mother. She tells him gently that no doctor can cure her sickness. Al refuses to give up, but a knock at the door interrupts them. It's Nia. She's come to offer her help. Al's face twists into a snarl. He accuses her of having bad intentions, like everyone from the shrine, and tells her to get lost. Nia's her ground, insisting she only wants to help. Just as the tension is about to snap, his mother's weak voice calls out, Al, let her in. He hesitates for a moment, then steps aside. Nia introduces herself as she enters the room where his mother lies in bed. She gently asks what seems to be the problem. The mother thanks her, her eyes filled with a deep sadness, saying no one has ever cared about them before. But she warns that this is no ordinary sickness. Unless God forgives us, everything else is futile, she explains. As Nia reaches out to check her pulse, she feels a strange, dark energy emanating from her wrist. Her eyes fly open in shock. This is God's curse. The mother just looks at her, confirming her worst fears. She reveals the curse is a soul-devouring horror that won't end until death. But her only worry is for her son, Al. After I die, he will be alone, she whispers, her voice breaking. She makes a final, desperate request for Nia to please always help him. Touched by her love, Nia makes a solemn promise. She vows to ask her father about the curse, certain that he, the benevolent God, will help him recover. Al watches from the doorway, his expression unreadable. Filled with determination, Nia rushes to the shrine to confront her father. There's something I want to ask you to help me with, she says, kneeling before him. Her father, the picture of divine grace, tries. He promises to grant any of her wishes. So she asks him to forgive the cursed souls from different realms who have fallen in love. Her father's gentle smile vanishes. Nia, he says, his voice losing its warmth, Father will grant any of your other wishes. His next words are like shards of ice. This is the only wish I cannot grant you. Nia is stunned. She argues that they are kind-hearted people who have done nothing wrong. But her father's face has become a cold, unforgiving mask. God's law should never be defied, he declares, his voice booming with absolute authority. His eyes narrow with suspicion. Nia, it seems that you've been going to the underworld too many times. And just like that, judgment is passed. Stay in the castle for the time being and reflect. He turns his back on her, leaving her utterly alone and shattered. Our poor girl is left in the darkness, her hope crushed. Several days later, we find her confined to the God Realm Library. She's been poring over ancient texts, trying to understand the curse. She finally finds it, a glowing pink book that holds the terrible truth. The law is absolute. People from the underworld, the realm of God, and the human realm can never fall in love. The penalty for breaking this law is endless suffering until their very soul perishes. Her eyes widen in horror, but it gets worse. The text says that half-breed children born from such unions devastating power and must be eradicated to prevent calamity. The horrifying realization crashes down on her. This is why Al and his mother were cursed. Her own father, he did this. She stands there trembling when a chilling voice cuts through the silence. It's her father standing right behind her. He says with a terrifying smile, "What are you reading?" Our girl is frozen in fear. He asks again, his smile never wavering, "What are you reading?" She quickly hides the book, stammering that it's nothing. Her father seems to accept this, telling her it's late and she should sleep. But as he stands over her, his words are a veiled threat. "Nia, there are things you shouldn't think too much about." He tells her to simply believe in him, in God's light, and she will be happy. Her face pales, understanding the unspoken warning. The very next day, the entire library vanishes without a trace. No one dares to even speak of it. Nia knows what this means. Her father is trying to silence her. And since that day, she couldn't find any trace of Al. He disappeared, just like the library, right after his mother passed away. Days turn into an eternity of regret for our heroine. She replays it over and over, hating herself for being so cowardly. They were innocent, and they suffered because of her father's cruel law. She steels her resolve. She has to find Al. At that moment, a glowing butterfly appears before her. It speaks, its voice echoing in her mind. The person you are searching for, he is in the underworld. So, our girl journeys to the underworld's Kots River. A creepy boatman ferries her across the shimmering water, cackling that the place is dangerous. She asks him if he knows Al. The boatman scoffs, calling Al a filthy bloodline and an ill-bearer. He sneers that the king of the underworld only took him in as a favor to Al's father. Hearing Al is with the king gives Nia a sliver of hope. They finally arrive at a menacing castle looming in the distance. As she steps off the boat, the ferryman gives one last chilling warning with a wicked laugh. Those who went inside never returned alive. A terrifying roar echoes from the castle, and Nia flinches, her heart pounding. She starts to doubt everything. But just then, her little glowing guide, the butterfly, reappears. There you are, it seems to say. It flutters towards a massive gate, which creaks open on its own. She follows, and her breath catches in her throat. The butterfly lands gently on the outstretched finger of the silver-haired man from the ruins, the king of the underworld. Nia approaches him, asking if Al's disappearance is because of the curse. The king looks at her, his expression unreadable. He asks if she knows how to break it. He then reveals the horrific nature of the curse. Al suffers from an insatiable, maddening thirst for blood. The only thing that can soothe it is the blood of someone from the realm of God. To protect others from his own monstrous state, Al locked himself away in this castle, suffering all alone. The king's gaze intensifies. "You can actually help him," he says. "That's why I led you here. As long as you are willing to spill out a lot of your blood." Nia stares at him, his glance feeling like it's quenched in poison. But there is no hesitation in her heart. She begins, stepping forward resolutely. "I'll use my blood. I am willing, as long as it can break Al's curse. I want to help him." A faint, almost imperceptible smile touches the king's lips. He and his butterflies dissolve into light, his voice echoing, "Go on inside." Nia takes a deep breath and steps into the darkness. "Al." In here, she calls out. Suddenly, there's a deafening crash. A mirror shatters into 1,000 pieces right in front of her face. She peers through the broken frame and sees a figure kneeling on the floor, panting heavily. It's Al, but he's surrounded by a terrifying dark aura, his eyes glowing a demonic red. He's become a beast on the verge of losing control. Our story flashes back to a snowy night where our girl makes a desperate plea. She stands before a shadowed man, her voice trembling but full of resolve. I came to help you break the curse," she says, her pink eyes wide with determination. But the man, is not having it. He lunges forward, grabbing her in an instant. Our girl gasps, caught completely off guard. His hand clamps around her throat, cutting off her air. His voice is pure ice. "People said they were willing to help me," he sneers, "but they all disappeared in the end." A chilling smile plays on his lips. "Did you come to make fun of me again?" Tears well up in our heroine's eyes as struggles for breath. "I'm sorry," she chokes out. "Back then, I didn't know anything." The poor nugget is absolutely terrified. Desperate, she makes her offer again. "This time I really can help you using my blood." But his expression turns even colder. "I don't need it," he snarls. He shoves her away, his rejection absolute. "I don't need your blood. I don't need your help," he repeats, his words like daggers. The force of his magic sends her reeling, and she feels her life slipping away. As darkness closes in on her vision, a new voice echoes in the room. "She's useful to you." A new figure appears out of nowhere, a man with long, light blue hair. Our girl realizes with a jolt it's and the king of the underworld. Is furious, his face a mask of rage. "I'd rather die than receive God's blood," he seethes. But the king is calm. "You should think it over," he says, his gaze knowing. "Your parents surely wish for you to live well." The words hit their mark, but it's too much for our girl. She collapses to the floor, her world going black. Her last thought of the cold, hard floor. But then she feels warm arms lifting her up, and a soft blanket being draped over her. She falls into a deep sleep almost instantly. When she wakes up, she's in a strange bed, the moonlight streaming in. Where am I?" she murmurs, pushing herself up. A voice cuts through the silence. It's him. He's sitting by the window, his back to her. "Go home if you're sober," he says, his tone dismissive. He won't even look at her. "I don't want to look at you." But our girl isn't deterred. She thanks him for carrying her to the bed, and with the sweetest smile, she offers again. "Let me break your curse." He finally snaps, turning on her with fury in his eyes. "I don't want your blood. Hurry up and get lost." She refuses to leave. What follows is a chaotic and adorable montage of her trying to get him to drink her blood. She offers him candies laced with it, which he promptly rejects. He's completely unimpressed, even when she screams her head off any spider. He just scoffs, "You're afraid of this small insect." But is that a tiny, almost smile on his face? He looks away, a flicker of warmth in his eyes. A terrifying sound echoes through the night. Our girl's head whips around. Is his curse acting up again? People scream warnings. It's dangerous. There is a beast in there. But she doesn't hesitate for a second, running straight towards the danger. A monstrous roar rips through the air. Before her stands a terrifying wolf-like beast. But she isn't afraid. She whispers his name, Cruel voices gossip about the intolerable bastard with the filthy bloodline. Hearing their venom, our heroine's heart breaks. She looks at the beast, at and sees tears in his eyes. For the first time, she understands crushing loneliness. She takes a step forward. "Be scared," she says softly. "It's me, Nia." He slowly turns back into his human form, his eyes filled with a heart-wrenching vulnerability. "Nia, don't leave me," he begs. He's trembling, trying to hide his face. "Look at me, I'm so gross." But she grabs his arm, her voice fierce and unwavering. "You are not. I is the most handsome person in my eyes." She reassures him that he is gentle and great, and that he shouldn't listen to anyone else. In that moment, the world around them melts away into a dreamscape. They stand under a breathtaking moon, and as petals swirl around them, he leans in and kisses her. Back in the underworld, the king is informed that has finally drunk the blood. But far away, God himself watches, his expression grim. The princess should not seek those who don't belong to her, he warns. Time passes. Ai's curse is broken, and he and Nia are blissfully happy. She gushes about how beautiful the underworld is, so much better than the starless sky of heaven. He gazes at her, his eyes full of love. "If you like it, then I'll accompany you to see it every day," he promises. But their perfect moment is interrupted. The underworld king has summoned Ai. He tells her he'll be back soon, and she smiles, saying she'll wait. She waits and waits as the sky darkens. Suddenly, a voice calls her name. It's God, and he is not here for a friendly chat. "You should go home," he says, his voice devoid of warmth. Ai returns, freezing in shock at the sight. He looks utterly devastated to see God there. Red threads of light suddenly bind Nia, and God's true intentions are revealed. "Marry you?" she exclaims in disbelief. He smiles cruelly. "So your heart still desires that, eh?" Then he drops the bomb. "You thought you broke his curse, but you actually didn't." Ai's face falls, shattered. God explains that only Aishi can truly break the curse, and without his help I won't live past 20. He offers her a soul-crushing deal. Marry him, and he'll save I and his family. The audacity! Nia gives him her answer with a sharp slap across the face. She is sing with rage. But a horrifying vision floods her mind. She sees, pierced by arrows, dying a brutal death. The vision shatters like glass, the words "will die" echoing in her ears. Her resolve crumbles. With tears in her eyes, she whispers, "I will marry you." She looks at God, her expression deadened. "As long as you break I's curse." He smiles victoriously. "As you wish, my bride." Later, Ike fronts her, his heart in his eyes. "You're saying you are gonna marry God?" She can't even look at him as she says, "Yes." She tells him to leave and never come back. He grabs her, desperate. "He forced you, didn't he?" She rips her hand away. "Let go of me," he pleads with her, but she delivers the final soul-destroying blow. "I don't like you anymore," she screams, her voice cracking. "Do not come here to pester me more, okay?" His hand falls away, his world collapsing. She turns and walks away from him. The second she's out of his sight, she breaks down, sobbing uncontrollably. The realm of God is shocked by the sudden marriage, but the ceremony proceeds. Nia is prepared for her wedding. An empty shell in a beautiful white dress. She stares at her own tragic reflection, her eyes hollow. But an incident was about to rock the heavens. At the altar, she faces God. "You lied to me," she accuses, her voice trembling with rage. "You never intended to help AA." He just smiles sweetly. "Nia, let's just finish the ceremony first." "Ceremony?" She scoffs, pulling a dagger from her dress. "In your dreams? I won't let it happen." Before he can react, she plunges the blade into her own chest. As she falls, her spirit flees her body, beginning a heart-wrenching, endless cycle of reincarnation in the human realm. Here we go again. Our story opens on what should be the happiest day of someone's life. But this is no fairy tale wedding. On this day, Princess Nia took her own life, right at the foot of the sacred tree where she was born. Her groom holds her limp body, his world shattering around him. "Nia," he whispers in disbelief. All he can see is her beautiful blonde hair, and his heart breaks. "Why did you leave me?" He remembers a happier time, a magical moment where he gave her a glowing, heart-shaped jewel, a promise of their love. He recalls his own tearful, happy smile. But now that memory is tainted. A single, sorrowful tear falls onto the jewel, now corrupted with dark wings. It was a drop of the blood of God. Elsewhere, a manipulative, silver-haired man named Al whispers to the imprisoned underworld king. He weaves a web of lies, planting a seed of pure poison. "Remember," he hisses, "it was Nia who locked you up in here." The king screams in agony as the lies take root. "It was Nia who betrayed you." The underworld king's eyes burn with a newfound, chilling hatred. The silver-haired snake continues his sweet poison. "When you no longer love her, I will come and release you." And in that moment, the underworld king made a decision he would regret for all eternity. Meanwhile, back in the God realm, the blonde groom, who is actually God himself, is questioning a little girl named Lilith. He wants to know where Nia is. God's face turns to ice as he looks down at the trembling girl. "Actually," he says with a terrifying smile, "it was you who pushed Nia into the time and space turbulence, right? You know what happens when you lie to me, don't you?" Lilith's eyes widen in pure horror. The drink she's holding slips from her grasp and shatters on the pristine floor. She falls to her knees, begging for forgiveness, but God is unmoved. "You should have known," he says coldly, "that you could never replace Nia." But just then, reality itself begins to crack. Vicious chains wrapped in roses burst forth, binding God completely. He looks up in shock to see our girl, Nia, standing beside the underworld king. He snarls. "So you and the underworld king were both in on this." He just scoffs. "Do you want to rebel? Our girl has had enough." She points her staff at him, her voice trembling with rage. "Die, you pervert! Don't come any closer." But the chain god just grins maniacally. "You don't think this can hold me, do you, Niu? It's time. You have to marry me." Before he can spew another word, a hand clamps over his mouth. The underworld king is behind him, a chilling sheet on his lips. He leans in close, his voice a deadly threat. "Don't say another word. I'm scared I won't be able to hold myself back and kill you right here." The underworld king reveals the chains are forged from the very spirits God had suppressed. He then turns to Nia. "You decide how to deal with him." Our poor girl is stunned. "Why me?" The silver-haired schemer explains that God's authority is crumbling, and only her judgment will be accepted by the other realms. Steeling herself, Nia delivers the sentence with icy finality. "Just exactly like how you were locked up. Let him lose his freedom for eternity." And with that, the reign of the tyrant god was over. As the underworld king prepares to leave, he pulls her into a tender embrace. "Wait for me," he whispers. Alone again, our girl looks at the heart-shaped jewel he gave her, confused by his words that it was her own heart. Suddenly, a pair of arms wraps around her in a warm hug. It's the original Nia, the soul she'd been helping all along. Time passes. Our heroine is back in her world, lazing in bed and throwing an absolutely adorable tantrum, because Al hasn't texted her once. Just as she gets a text from another boy, a shadow falls over her. It's Al. He's appeared from thin air, sporting a handsome new haircut. He pins her to the bed, his eyes smoldering. What's this? Going out with other men when I'm not around? She sputters that it's his fault for ghosting her. He cuts off her protests with a deep apologetic kiss. I'm sorry, he murmurs, I came back late. And as they sit together under a sky full of stars, their chaotics finally finds its perfect happy ending.